you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
It's time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. We'll be talking to Blake Sloan in mere seconds. In the meantime, let me give you some contact information in case you'd like to get in touch with Blake. You're going to hear so many things over the next 30 minutes, you're going to want it. So go ahead and give him a call at his office at Sloan Realty Group. The phone number is 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. You can also go online to blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com. We'll repeat that contact info a lot over the next 30 minutes. In the meantime, let's get the show started. Here's Blake Sloan.
Good morning, everyone. Got an awesome show. Tons of great stuff. Like the real estate market, as it has been, is still on fire. Absolute craziness. We have some brand new numbers in from last month, and they are new records. So got new records set continually. We'll talk about what they are. They're very interesting to say the least. And so some great stuff. This is a 54 straight edition since Corona, lockdown craziness, and our market has seen so much of that, both ups, downs, and really rocket ship up since a lot of that's happened with people coming in town, which is great. So tons of great stuff right now. Like we got one example we'll share, not here locally, but one property had 76 all cash offers on one home in one weekend, which is it's like insane. So that wasn't here locally. It wasn't with us. That was in DC, but it just has something to do. It says the quote was that the housing madness shows no signs of slowing right now. So that's interesting. We'll talk about kind of what we're seeing here. Also, another one that we haven't really talked about here on the show, Myrtle Beach named one of the fastest growing areas in the country by 3-year population growth. And we came in the very top of that list, which is awesome. Interest rates have been all over the place. They were down last week, but guess what? They're back up again this week. And so we'll just talk about what's happened there in that aspect. We'll talk about how we've been getting sellers $20,000, $30,000, and $40,000 more than they thought their house was worth. And we've actually been going back, and I have my team. I said, look, you go back. I want you to call everyone that we've spoken to that's been thinking about selling for the past 2 years. We called them back, and a lot of times we're getting them like, back then they had a number of, like, let's say we had a perfect example this week. They wanted $300,000 for the house, and Jeremy, my team, called, and they said, well, we get $300,000, we do it. And he said, look, I can get you $360 right now and get it sold within a couple of days. And I actually met with them and got that property listed. Goes live next week. And so that's just some stuff we're seeing right now with just craziness, getting people so much more than they thought they could get. It's so fast that the online evaluations that people are using aren't even really accurate. You need somebody who can really look and see and kind of pick a point of what's doable, what's not doable. There's a strategy behind that based on how you're going to handle the appraisal issues. And so there's a lot of those details there. And so if you're thinking about selling, don't leave money on the table. I have a horror story we'll share this week about someone who had called into us. We scheduled to meet with them. They didn't meet with us. They went with somebody else, and they left over $30,000 on the table. We'll talk about what that is as well. And so we have some amazing success stories. Our team has been absolutely crushing it, pushing hard, hustling 7 days a week. And so we'll get to those and share a lot about that as well.
All right, a lot of stuff to get to. Don't go anywhere, because over the next 30 minutes, you're going to be hearing a lot. If you just tuned in for the very first time, you don't know who Blake Sloan is. He's been called the real estate whiz kid. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, Realtor magazine, other national publications as well. Maybe you've seen him on TV, on NBC, and also with Fox and Friends with the morning show. Personal endorsements you've heard on this very radio station from Sean Hannity, from Glenn Beck, from Barbara Corcoran, Gary LaVox, and others. Put them all together, and it's unprecedented in the world of real estate. Now, also, Blake has trademark systems to help home buyers and home sellers. Can't give you all the details because they are trademarked and they're kind of secret, but it can give you the most important part of that system.
Yes, and I've never in my history of doing this show or in my career, this has been more important than it is now. We talked about this before, where there's times where you can get somebody to sell it, a friend or relative, and they probably get it sold and you still do okay. But like right now, the market's so hot and so fast. There's so many mistakes being made every single day that we see, that we experience, that people are working with, or people that our team is working with on the other side of the transaction. Is just so much right now that can be left on the table. And so people make this huge mistake. And it's really been probably one of the biggest fights of my career to really articulate and try to explain to people that they make this huge mistake. And it doesn't matter how sophisticated they are in business or selling, they always make the same big time mistake of thinking that all agents are the same. And probably that's because most of them are, but it's just like anything else, any type of service-based business where any doctor, any lawyer, right? I used the example before. If you're charged with a crime you did not commit, you don't want just some random part-time lawyer representing you. You want the absolute best, most aggressive, right? If you have some, life-threatening illness, you want the absolute best doctor who specializes in that type of medicine. And you should demand the same exact thing when you're dealing, for most people, their largest asset or one of the largest assets they have. But they make this huge mistake of saying, well, all agents are the same, they can do the same parts. And the reality, there's so many mistakes that are made that cost you hard-earned equity that you don't even know about. And so the point that I made sure we share every show, just after hearing so many horror stories, is that the single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home seller comes down to one thing only. That thing is the agent you choose, period. Nothing else. Not the wall color, not the grass, the agent you choose. And why that is, because when you sell a property, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, guess what that does? Puts money in your pocket, the property gets sold. If anything's handled incorrectly, aka they drop the ball at any point, that could be anything from the pricing strategy they use, right? The quality of the photos, the order of the photos. Do they answer the telephone when the buyer tries to call? What day to list the property on right now? How long does it take them to respond to a web lead? All these things matter that make or break keeping your hard-earned equity in your pocket. And so what we did is we identified every variable. That's how we know it's 118. Most agents are just winging it. You're listening, they did 3 Ps. 1, they promise you the world to get listing. 2, they put it to the MLS. And 3, they pray someone else brings a buyer. And they just leave it, let it do that. Then they go down the street, try to get the next listing. And so with us, we had to how do we create a proven, repeatable system that gets clients results every single time the same way? And so what we did is we developed something that gives our client a huge competitive advantage because we proactively manage the variables before they happen. And so the system I designed was called the Guaranteed Sold System. Only proven system sells twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than the traditional methods. And it works very, very, very well. I designed it. We licensed other agents, other parts of the country, but we manage every single variable through a team of people and also technology and software that we built and developed and invested a lot of money in to make sure the same thing happens the same way every single time, and that your home's equity doesn't slip through cracks like so many other times. Because the reality is how 99% of agents operate is an old school model. We call it 8-track tape or cassette tape. They're operating like a cassette tape, meaning that you have one single agent trying to juggle, all these balls. They're trying to work with buyers, trying to work with sellers, trying to do the closing coordination. They're trying to do marketing. They're trying to do administrative stuff. And so in essence, you have the same person at McDonald's doing the front register, the drive-thru, and the French fries at the same time. It's very, very, very inefficient. How do I know? I see it every single day. Now, the problem is about 95+% of agents operate that same exact way. And that was okay back in 1991. But right now, today's time, with technology, with the speed, with the pace, with the way the consumer understands the marketplace, it's a whole lot different ballgame. You can't get away with having one single person try to do all that for you. It's just not really feasible or effective. And so we designed that system with people and a team and technology to make sure we can manage all the variables that 2021 demands and give you that huge advantage. So you owe it to yourself. You listen to this show to, one, tell your friends about it. If they're talking about it, thinking about it, don't let them make that mistake. And yourself, for sure, don't make that mistake of going with the old school cassette tape in an iPad world. We looked at, we like to say we designed the iPad Pro in a world of cassette tapes. And that's exactly what that system does and gives you that advantage. On the flip side, the same process on buyers. There's 100+ variables on the buy side, and it's the same exact thing. One person trying to juggle all those balls is never going to be effective. And so it costs you your hard-earned equity when you're buying there. And so we designed a system called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. Gives you priority access to foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation and purchase price, as well as in the home inspection. And all those are designed to do one single thing: give you a competitive advantage in the marketplace. And I'll tell you, anybody that's using a single agent right now is at a huge disadvantage. There's just not enough time in the day to keep up with all the variables that are needed because there's so many aspects of it. We like to say we have a team of specialists instead of some generalist who's trying to do everything, because now you can attack and make sure you do everything with precision. So right now, with the speed and the pace of the market, do not leave your hard-earned equity on the table. If you listen to this, you owe it to yourself to call us. Reach out, 843-808-SOLD. The most important thing is when you're out there in the community with your friends, your family, whoever it may be, and they think about that, educate them on the same exact thing. Say, look, there's no way one single agent can juggle all these balls. You need a team of experts who can help guide you and help give strategy and the backup and the expertise to help you get the most amount of money. So if you want to know more about that, reach out, call us, 843-808-SOLD.
All right, coming up. I needed to create demand in this market, no question. There's only one real estate agent I trust if I needed to sell my home. I'm talking about Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. Now, he services the entire Myrtle Beach area, attracts hundreds of buyers every week, and sells a home on average every 24 hours. Now, that helps you generate multiple offers and sell your home for the most money possible. Plus, it's like getting an immediate offer on your home, because if your home doesn't sell for the price and the deadline you agree to, you will have it bought for cash, and he offers flexible fees. Find out how much demand your home can command right now. Call the agent that creates the most demand. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Myrtle Beach, I would hire Blake Sloan. His international marketing creates so much demand that if your home doesn't sell at a price and deadline you agree to, Blake will buy it. Partner with the agent I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Coming up in just 1 minute, we'll find out what the rates are looking like this week, and you need to make sure that you operate them correctly. Right now, though, let's find out what the market is looking like. And I know it's been, like you said earlier, incredibly hot.
Yes, absolute chaos. That's probably the word I look at. I mean, it's insane. Like I'm telling you, like I mentioned, there's two ways to track this. We track real-time properties that go under contract, or we talk about properties that's closed. Now, if we look at closed properties, that's kind of what we've been done for years and years. We started this new way during COVID to look at real-time data, like what's happening real time, how many are going under contract. Remember last year when they had the lockdown, there's like 300 a week going under contract. There was 600, and at the very peak of last year, it was 800 plus properties a week going under contract. And for the past month, we've been averaging about 850 to 870 per week going under contract. That's 870 homes, condos, et cetera, that are going under contract in our entire MLS, which is the whole Grand Strand, per week. And so in the last 7 days right now, it's down slightly the past couple of days. That has to do with the inventory challenge, but 826 under contract for $218,952,718 that's sold. So over $200 million in real estate went under contract the last 7 days. Money is pumping in here like crazy from other areas. We're seeing it with our clients from all across the country, the Northeast especially, but we're getting California, Arizona, people coming back from Florida, all kind of different things that we're seeing right now. A lot of high-end homes, on there as well in the last couple of days, over 10 of them, over $1 million that have gone under contract. And so the reality is the market is super, super hot. The one biggest shocking number is really inventory. And I'll just kind of hit that one first. If you look at the months of supply, so how much inventory is on the market month versus month, it was, I think 1.4 months last month, and it hit 1.2, went back to 1.4. Right now, it's a 78.3% decrease from the amount of homes for sale in the same time last year, 1.0 months. It's the lowest it's ever been since being tracked, ever. And so why is that? Because you're getting 800 plus homes a week being purchased. It can't sustain that. There's not that many new ones that are being listed. And so that's the challenge of what you're looking at overall per month. And so you're just seeing that's, the overall aspect. If you look at new homes for sale, there is basically listed last month, there's only 717. And so you have 800 plus just in the last 7 days going to contract. And so that's the problem you're looking at overall. But if you look at just 1 year ago, overall in 2020, if you look at February, there's 4.4 months of inventory. Right now there's 1.0 months. And so that should tell you how low that is. I mean, thousands and thousands of less homes available in the same time last year. And so guess where that puts the pressure at? We all know that the prices of real estate are supply and demand based. And so if you look at obviously how much demand there is, check this out. If you go to closed sales for single family resale homes, last month they were up 41.2%, another new record for the show here. And so 702 properties for March that went under contract. Amazing number overall, which is huge in that aspect. And so sales price up, guess what? 20.9%, one of the biggest jumps we've seen it in the month versus month tracking we've had. And so it's all over. And we remember a month, 2 months ago, we saw buyer traffic was up like 80%, which we knew would put a huge jump in regards to homes for sale, and homes under contract, which is awesome. So average sale price up 19.5% right now $360,519. Again, just to recap, median price of 20.9% at 287,500. Both of those are new records. And so the reality is homeowners right now have more equity than they've ever had in most cases, which is amazing, amazing numbers. Like I mentioned, just from the stories that we're experiencing, in some cases, $60,000, $70,000 more than they thought they could get just based on what they've been, looking at or seeing their neighbors' houses. It literally is that crazy because you can't have a 78% decrease in the amount of homes for sale, a 40+% increase in the amount of properties being sold. Puts massive, massive pressure on price. And really what's keeping that from shooting through the stratosphere is appraisals, which we've been able to navigate that. We're negotiating right now for our clients that if the property comes in below appraised value, aka the appraisal comes back lower than what the buyer purchases for, we're negotiating for the buyer to pay the difference out of their own pocket. And guess what? We're getting it done for our clients. And so that's an extra added benefit. That means, one of those small details I mentioned, that you want to make sure you have an expert who's able to do that for you, because if not, you're going to drop your price back down 10, 20, 30,000 to where that appraisal is. And so there's so many nuances right now that make or break how much you're going to get in that aspect. And so that's just something to think about and see there overall. Into buyer traffic, and this is crazy. So we track per 30 days how many showings there are versus the same 30 days a year ago. And so this is another new record here. Basically, average listing, even overpriced ones, are getting 11 showings per listing, which is a 175% increase in the amount of buyer traffic we're seeing right now. So 175% more buyer traffic. The first time in history I've ever seen it over 100% since we've been doing this show, which is 10 years. So that just goes to show you that there's that many more buyers looking here right now. And it has to do a little bit of perfect storm, right? With interest rates still being super low, the COVID-19 aspect, people moving from the metropolitan areas, people getting down here from up north, people can now work remotely. And guess what's one of the sweet spots for that is Myrtle Beach. And we're also seeing us come into that spring market, which typically is when people start making moves. School's about to be out, they got spring break. And so that's something that's important to look at. But 175% increase in buyer traffic last month, which is just insane. And so again, my number one need right now is homes for sale, right? We need inventory. We literally have more buyers that I personally have than there are homes for sale in the market right now, which is crazy. And so we'll talk about that more in a minute. Into condos, we're seeing condos done amazing as well, just because everybody who was looking at houses before, I had a big talk with my team about this week about, we got to make sure we articulate to clients out of town who've been looking for 6 and 7 months. They're getting priced out of the market. They're on fixed incomes, they're retiring, their dream homes down here to move down, and they could afford it a year ago. They can't afford it anymore. And so now they're moving from a single family to a condo. And so condo sales last month for resale condos up 57.1%. These are all across the board, the biggest numbers I've ever seen. 737 condo sales closed last month, which is amazing. Prices up, median price up 14.1% for condos last month at 158,000. Average sale price for condos last month up 19.4% at $191,790. And guess what? Inventory also the biggest drop there, down 68.4% at 1.8 months. And so basically there's 68.4% less condos available for sale than there was the same exact time last year. And so it's just like dropping off a cliff. Another record set there. And so the reality is we need property to sell. I don't care what type of property it is. We're getting it sold, and we got buyers for it. Commercial, residential, condos. We have a team of experts that specialize in each aspect of that, which is amazing there as well. And the one thing you're seeing too, showings per listing for condos, buyer traffic up 171.4%, which is insane. And so bottom line right now, the market is super, super hot. It's the hottest I've ever seen. It's the fastest I've ever seen. And the biggest struggle right now is having inventory for sale. And so anybody out there listening that's a weekly listener, been listening for a while, the one favor I need is, hey, look, I need Blake's army out there. I need you guys to say, anybody you come across, I don't care if you're eating breakfast somewhere or at a family dinner or at a holiday dinner, and they mention their sale and say, you got to call my boy Blake. He's got buyers from across the country. We're netting people $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 and other average agents are right now. Do not let them gamble with their equity. And so have them call us. Go ahead and put me in your phone, 843-808-SOLD, because the coolest part about coming to this spring market is that interest rates, although they have been up, are still super low. And so one thing still driving the heat, so to speak, in the market is just all-time low interest rates, right? They're back up slightly, but they're still low when you look at the long-term, basically breakdown of rates. And so 30-year fixed rate right now, 3.39%. Last week's show was 3.31%, so we're pretty close there. A 15-year fixed rate mortgage right now, 2.83%. A 30-year FHA loan, 2.80%. A jumbo loan, 3.33% right now, and a 5-year adjust rate mortgage right now, 2.72%. And so it's still super cheap. Money's on sale, and that's one thing that even as prices go up from an all-time, interest rate standpoint, rates are still super, super low. If you want to know more about that, my team helps navigate the buyer side, navigate the seller side. Very, very good. But anyone you come across this week that mentions the word selling, if they smell like they're going to smell something, smell like they're going to sell something, have them call us 843-808-SOLD.
All right, coming up in just 1 second, we've got your hot buyers alert. We've also got some great success stories to get to as well as people who have taken Blake's advice and gotten on to the Blake Sloan team there and got everything taken care of. We'll find out more coming up in just 1 second. To get in touch with Blake, you can do that by calling him at his office at Sloan Realty Group. The phone number is 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or you can go online to blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com.
Hey, Myrtle Beach, it's Gary LaVox, lead singer of Rascal Flatts. When I'm moving on, one of the awards for ACM Song of the Year, it struck a chord with folks.
Like 7, 8
A
minutes.
little under 6 minutes.
Okay, perfect.
For
Thank
many,
you.
that happens when it comes time to sell their home. If you're moving on, you want a real estate agent who will make selling your home easy and stress-free. An agent who's willing to let you out of the contract if you're not happy with their service. That's why in Myrtle Beach, I can tell you that Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group markets your home on a whole different level. Now listen, Blake is so confident in his ability to sell your home quickly and for more money that he guarantees to sell it or he'll buy it himself. If you're moving on, trust Blake to provide your family a stress-free home sale experience. Find Blake Sloan online at blakesloan.com, or you can call him at 843-808-SOLD. Start packing.
It is the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Call Blake at his office at Sloan Realty Group, 843-808-SOLD. Time right now for your hot buyers alert. Blake and his team working with a ridiculous amount of home buyers. They're all looking for homes in the Myrtle Beach area, as you heard, and there's not a whole lot of inventory. So if you're thinking of selling, contact Blake immediately. Same phone number, 843-808-SOLD. How many home buyers are out there? Well, on Blake's website alone, active home buyers list over 60,000. The exact number is 60,668. That's how many people are out there on Blake's website. Then they are looking for homes, not just once a month, once a week, probably several times a day. And you need to get with Blake right now so you can get on that list.
They're stalking it, man, because there's just inventory so low. Like, think about it. Like Dave said, 60,000+ active buyers. And these aren't hits. These aren't like people we get a month. This is actual people who are active buyers with a username, a password, and they have their own account. And they have, like, the account logs what they're looking at and all that stuff. Like right now, I got people on here. I got John from Wilmington, North Carolina. I got Todd from St. Louis, Missouri. Maureen from Oxford, Massachusetts. I got Amy from West Jefferson, Ohio. 2 people from Conway. I got Tom from Fairfield, New Jersey. I even have Porterville, California on here, Scranton, PA. And so all these people are looking to buy. And like I mentioned, 60,000 plus, there's like 2,000 houses for sale right now. And so you can see my problem. And so the coolest thing about what makes us different, like if you're listening, why should I call you versus anyone else? Well, you call me because I'm spending tens and tens of thousands of dollars to drive traffic to websites and get buyers before you ever call me. And that's every single month. And so we outspend the average agent 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint. We have a much bigger funnel, a bigger pond that we create that brings buyers in from across the country. Then we have technology that we've worked on and helped develop that will match up any buyer that we have, any new listing we get, and it reverse engineers that 60,000 plus buyers and tells us who the most likely buyer for your property is. Now, on top of that, what we've been able to do is we know how to create the auction effect for your home. So we list your home on a certain day of the week at a certain time of the week, because we know that we can add on top of that 1 or 2 open houses to drive all the people that have been looking online through there, as well as anybody else has agents, anything else, and create multiple offers on your property. And what the strategy does is it has them bidding against each other. And unfortunately, that's what our job is to do, is to get the most amount of money. And through that strategy, we're getting multiple offers on many of our properties right now. That's working very, very, very well. And so that's something that I helped design just based on data and what I was seeing and selling hundreds and hundreds of properties, over 500 homes last year. We're going to be well over that this year. And so the reality is, if you know anyone, right, that's thinking about selling, we need inventory. That's my huge problem right now. 60,000 plus active buyers, and are seeing that through our success stories, which are awesome. Big shout out to Robert and Roger and Thoa. They had an oceanfront condo here in Myrtle Beach. They're awesome radio listeners as well. They decided it's time to sell because they want to get top dollar. They don't use it anymore. Thankfully, Roger's listener to this show called into us. We designed a custom plan, launched Global Marketing Blitz, professional photos, the virtual reality tour, drove massive traffic. Within just a week, had Robert and Thoa offered 90% of asking price, and now no one have to pay HOA, cash out with maximum equity in their pocket, which is really cool. Brian and Jody own a property in Myrtle's Inlet. Decided it's time to move and go back up north closer to family. Thankfully, they saw our commercials on Shark Tank with Barbara Corcoran, called in, gave us a call. We came in, designed custom plan, launched our Global Marketing Blitz, professional photos. Within 1 week, had massive traffic, had an acceptable offer. And we also negotiated a specific long closing date so they could have time to find the place back up north, and they were in control. And so if that's something you're concerned about, we're in control here. We're able to help negotiate that to make sure that we're able to help with that. So again, I think I may have mentioned last week, I'm not sure. We did one where you just had Richard and Karen had 28 buyers go through the house in 48 hours, drove multiple offers, like I was talking about, $15,000 over asking price for them, and that's just one of the many examples we've done. A really quick horror story, though. This is someone I actually mentioned this briefly last week on the show, and this is a person, lady, Charlotte, called in, listened to the show, actually wanted us to come meet on Tuesday. She called us on Monday and said she no longer wanted to meet, that she wanted to stick with, quote, wanted to go with a little guy who was local, aka in Pawleys Island. For some reason, people in Pawleys Island have this crazy mindset that the person has to live in Pawleys Island. I gave you guys the example last week, the $2.2 million buyer who I had came from Connecticut, didn't even know Pawleys Island existed. And so you need a big fish in a big pond. So we checked this week, property went active. The problem is the property went active $30,000 less than what it should be listed at online. Obviously, there's another example there of what understanding the marketplace does. And that person has cost himself 30 grand, but not even meeting with us. And we could have easily shown that to them. And so don't be that person. Don't be the horror story. Your friends, your relatives owe it to themselves to get top dollar in today's market. Reach out, call me, 843-808-SOLD. Anybody you come across, please make sure you have them call us for sure.
Yeah, it's much better to be a success story than a horror
Yes.
story. And it's much easier. All you need to do is to get in touch with Blake Sloan, and you'll stay on that horror story list. Make sure you get in touch with Blake if you have any questions about what you've heard today, or if you just want to talk, or definitely if you're looking to sell, because once again, they need inventory at Sloan Realty Group. Call Blake today at 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com. Blake, thanks for all your help.
Thank you.
Next week.
Yes, sir. I'll be here.
All right. It is the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Hey, if you are in the market to make the most money for your home, Sean Hannity here with some important advice. Now, look, I'm an active investor. I have bought and sold a lot of property.